I was wondering if you could give an example from the Arab Spring of a situation where citizen journalists have been the first to get a story out or have significantly changed the way a story is reported.
Well, I mean, in fact, I think it was citizen journalists that first alerted us to the fact that a CBS News woman had been very badly attacked and, in fact, raped. That is simply because they are there on the ground in amongst what's happening. Now, of course, the problem is, where's the second source? And who is this person telling you this information? So clearly, it's a start, but it's never the finish. So I think the citizen journalist generally is the seed, and then the plant may well come from something more conventional. But it is the alert from the citizen journalist that is invaluable.
And you mentioned in the talk that you follow a lot of people on Twitter, and sometimes what they say is...
Not a lot, actually, about 140, something like that, which I don't regard as a lot. I see some people follow 3,000 people, and I don't see how that can be done. You have to be quite selective, I think.
But you mentioned that sometimes people do tweet crap. And
that's true. But then you just dump them. You don't follow them anymore. I mean, if it is a wonderfully selective thing, and then if they're real crap, as you put it, you block them. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful medium. And the main thing is it's not really about 140 characters. It's about leading people to water. It's about leading people to links to really interesting articles, or maybe a blog or whatever it is. But it often leads you somewhere where there is a piece of quite in-depth journalism that is of great value.
Do you think there's ever a danger that the pressure to get a story out compromises the ability to check out those links or check out the background to a particular source?
I think that tension has existed ever since journalism began. The tension between must get it out, must tell people, and is it true? And I think, oddly enough, the growth of citizen journalism, the breadth of the social media, has actually made journalists rather more careful than they used to be. In the beginning, we were always told we had to have two sources, and that would have to be AP and UPI, or AP and Reuters, or whatever it was. But now, two citizen journalists wouldn't be enough. We really are much more, because you get stuff wrong, and if you get stuff wrong, you lose credibility. And so you cannot be losing credibility at the hand of citizen journalists. You've got to be right.
You mentioned Iran a lot in the talk. What do you think about Western media coverage of Iran?
Well, let's be candid. It's very difficult to cover Iran because it's not easy to get visas. But I think there's a tremendous enslavement to the Western perspective on Iran. It's a much more complex country than people make out, and a much more wonderful country. It's clearly got a very, deranged situation somewhere near the top of great splits and the rest of it. But it's a remarkable country, and it's a country which needs to be included in what's going on in the region and not excluded. And I think a dialogue that rests entirely on the nuclear question is a dead dialogue.